All right. We're waiting for the clock to start officially. These slow windups that we have on this show every night. I look at the clock and I wonder what takes so long for it to start. Let's see. Here we go. It's probably recording. All right, Glenn, welcome back. Is it Tuesday night? They all run together.
It's Tuesday, but for it, it feels we've in a past life did some work on the campaign side where you lose complete track of days and time, and that's how I feel right now. I don't know about
Yeah.
you.
I don't know what's going. I don't know whether we're coming or going.
In fact, it's even worse because when I did it on the campaign side, I could tell at least by the traffic. If there wasn't much traffic, it's got to be a weekend. Now I'm at home. I'm not driving. So
Right.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I have no idea.
Whatever.
We're working all the time on this.
All right. So we woke up this morning, news from the Cardinals. I know you've got some logo repping going on there. Cardinals putting $1 million into ArizonaTogether.org, a big resource site. It's great news.
Michael Bidwell is the model business leader in the state of Arizona. He, time and time again, stepped up to the plate. And what good news to set up this website, to donate $1 million that goes into a whole bunch of worthy causes, including charities that really help the poorest of the poor, as well as for the personal protection equipment that's so badly needed by our hospitals and first responders.
Yeah. Yeah, very good news. Real shout out from the governor's office on that for what the Cardinals and Michael Bidwell did. So nice way to start the day. And then,
yeah.
Well, and then, Glenn, I mean, what a day. All right. Jobless claims in the state, not unexpected, but they're up. They're way up.
They blew right past the numbers that we saw during the Great Recession. I mean, we have to face it. Right now, the economy of Arizona, which was about the best in the country, is essentially in a depression. You have whole sectors such as tourism and restaurants that are either reeling or severely hurt. So this is an extremely tough time for the state of Arizona.
Right. So that was the topic of a number of the calls we were on. This is sort of the conference call roundup show that we do. We continue to talk with the congressional delegation. Today we heard from Congressman Andy Biggs and from Congressman Tom O'Halloran. Give us your thoughts on those conversations.
Well, I just want to say that our congressional delegation is very accessible and the communication lines are extremely good with the business community. Yep. All of the calls that we've had, our members understand the severity of the problem. They understand the importance of protecting the health of Arizonans, but they also understand the importance of making sure that our economy doesn't slip into a prolonged depression. We want this is a difficult experience, Garrick, but we need to make sure that just as we know that the health part will be temporary, we don't know how long, we want to make sure that the economic harm is also temporary and is not a permanent situation that really causes great prolonged misery in this country.
Yeah. Glenn, I know that we just appreciate all the members of the delegation who have been willing to jump on with us. We're going to talk about a call that you had with one of our senators in a second, but while I was on the call with Congressman O'Halloran, you jumped off and you got on a call with your colleagues at the U.S. Chamber leadership. Can you give us some insight into what you folks discussed?
Well, the work that the U.S. Chamber is doing is best in class. There's 3 million companies that are associated with the U.S. Chamber. We're proudly associated and members of the U.S. Chamber. Neil Bradley, in particular, provided an update on the legislation that is very likely to move forward in the United States Senate within the next 12 hours and through the House and then to the president's desk. Good news is on the way. It's a $2 trillion package. It will help businesses, small, medium, and large. It'll put a lot of additional resources into our hospitals. It will increase some of the benefits and features for unemployment insurance. It's a big package. It's round three, and this is really the big enchilada. This has to go, and it has to go now.
It's interesting. We talked with two members of the House delegation. You jumped off, did the U.S. Chamber call, and then because the ball's in the Senate's court right now, as you said, as we speak, they're hashing it out. You got on a call with Senator Sinema today and the Arizona Manufacturers Council. That's a segment of our membership. They're the makers. They're the innovators.
Yeah, no, and in fact, before the call with Senator Sinema, her office reached out. We did a very productive call with Senator Sinema last week with the full chamber. She reached out for a separate call with our Arizona Manufacturers Council so they could relay some of the real bottlenecks now with our supply chain. But before that, actually, I was able to get onto a tourism call that our friend Kim Sabo, who's just a great leader in the hospitality and tourism industry, arranged with Senator McSally. And what I'm proud to report is that both senators are working this very hard. We're going to get a good result going through the United States Senate. And one of the themes, Garrick, that we've talked about, we need unity. We need big, bold, bipartisan solutions. And I believe by the time we do this show tomorrow, if I make it back, if Courtney Coolidge, who did a great job yesterday, doesn't bounce me, I believe we're going to have a lot of good things to talk about.
Yeah, so for those of you who watch this show, we know we have a lot of loyal viewers. Glenn, that means you were on 3 conference calls simultaneously.
Something like that, but we all are. This is the challenge of a lifetime, and I wish we didn't have this challenge of the lifetime, but we're in a position where we could be helpful here. And there's a lot of the people of Arizona, we're a beautiful people, and everyone is really working hard to keep well and to work this problem until we get a solution.
That's right. Okay, so let's talk about you had the conversation with Senator Sinema. As we speak, they're in the Senate trying to hash this out. To the extent that the markets matter in a time like this, the markets like the fact that it looks like we're going to get a deal here. So there's a little ray of hope there.
Well, this bill is a lifeline to the American economy. So the market went up over 2,000 points. Without this bill, we would go into a prolonged depression, and that wouldn't be the misery that would cause economically would probably also be matched by what would happen on the healthcare side. We can't, if people are out of work and they don't have any sense of hope or they don't have any sort of lifeline, the odds of them abiding by all the different social distancing things decrease. If we do the safety net right and sort of this temporary bridge, people will across the country, I believe, will feel much more comfortable in listening to healthcare professionals and doing everything possible to slow the spread of this deadly disease.
Yeah. I'm glad to see that we are, as you said, hours away from getting a deal done, and it has to happen. It's a must-have. It's not a nice-to-have.
It's a must-have, and then this bill has a lot of components, and so for future shows, we're going to have to talk about how it's implemented, because right now, as we're talking, Arizona businesses are shedding workers, they're reducing hours, and unfortunately, some are closing. So the speed that this bill needs to get done is one issue, and then the speed which it needs to be implemented, particularly the $350 billion program for small businesses as basically bridge loans that could be forgivable for businesses that keep workers on payroll and pay their rent and their utilities and insurance. That's the ball game for a lot of small businesses in the state.
Yeah. Shameless plug on chamberbusinessnews.com. We've got an op-ed coming from our regional SBA administrator. So stay tuned for that, speaking exactly to what you're talking about.
Well, what I love, Garrick, is that these programs are being designed to really work faster and more efficiently than we've ever seen. The bureaucracy is going to be our friend on this, and more to come. But I'm very bullish that Congress is going to get this right, and then we're all going to help small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and other employers use these new tools to keep workers on the payroll through this difficult time.
All right. I want to wrap with this. You are not only a chamber CEO, but you're a husband and a father, which took you out to LA yesterday, grabbed the kids from this extended spring break that they're on. What was it like being in LA or in California? Was it traffic noticeably lighter, fewer people out on the roads? What'd you see?
Traffic was noticeably lighter. There was no malls, for a number of the places where we usually stop as a family. They were basically closed. There was gas stations and not much else. It felt a little bit like out of a scene of Mad Max to some extent. Never really seen anything like that. It was sad.
This was a turnaround trip for you because you left in the morning. You came back after dinner. I mean, this was record speed.
840 total miles round trip. I did it myself, even though my 18-year-old daughter offered to drive. I had incredible energy and adrenaline because I'll say for almost the entire trip, I was on the phone on a conference call or on calls with members or elected officials. So it went by a lot faster than usual.
I wanted to get your thoughts on that because there's a little game going on Twitter. People posting images of LA freeway maps, and you see nothing but green, which is incredibly unusual.
Well, the traffic was much lighter than usual, and probably what also stuck out is that the ratio of trucks to cars was much higher than usual. So those supply chains seem to be moving, but a lot of residents are heeding the advice of local, state, and federal officials and staying at home and doing what they can to stop the spread.
Right. All right, Glenn, viewers, thanks for tuning in. As always, we'll be back here tomorrow night. And for Thursday night, Glenn, we've got a special tourism show we're doing, so that should be a good one.
I can't wait to watch it. Thanks, Garrick.
All right, good night, everybody.